His Excellency George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. At war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong, and no matter what it is wrong. At war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and not practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you sessions, when we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country. So when we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong, and no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their star is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up to be a patriot. You have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their star is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up to be a patriot. You have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their star is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up to be a patriot. You have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their star is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up to be a patriot. You have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, you're going to side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth. And that is very much important. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, you're going to side you want to be on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, you're going to side you want to be on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, you're going to side you want to be on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, you're going to side you want to be on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, you're going to side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth. And that is very much important.
I see in the next few months a noisy country, a very noisy country, rowdy country, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a sense of elitism for those who are coming at the hem of authority. The coming in of the Unity Party is going to multiply the economic woes, the economic conundrum, the economic quagmire, the suffering of the Nigerian people is going to multiply. We are not prophets of doom, but the reality will come.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is saved, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. If there is no way that our country is saved, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. If there is no way that our country is saved, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong, and no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their star is there. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their star is there. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their star is there. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their star is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up to be a patriot. You have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. No, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. No, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much
important. His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Aloysius Gapu, you are on from Iron Factory, your comfort zone. You said, yes, Sharif, you are on. Good to have you on. Hope that you are faring well from your end. Moti Ward, you are on from Old Road, Gay Town. Yes, Benson Dario Victor, Do Community, and to Coleman from the headquarters of the Freedom Fighters of Liberia. Not much is heard lately of your bossman Emmanuel Gongwe as he departed, turned his back on Joseph Yema Boakai, the man whom he said he related to, and the man is down to earth. Even before coming to power, he got along well with Joseph Yema Boakai. Why is he not active now? Why is the freedom fighters not speaking out now? They gone cold, dead. Tom Williams, you are on from Congo Town Catholic Community. Clarence Dwyer, good to have you on from your legal hustle ground. Joseph Kenya from SKD Boulevard, Sagamo Community, Block D. Pastor Melvin Destiny Harvest Power from the United States of America. Good to have you on the show, my dear brother. Hope that you are faring well. My Southeastern sister, Claudie Addison. Good to have you on. Uh, Claudia Arezi, you always ask me how I'm doing. No human being is 100%, but you got to be excited when you have live. Hope that you are faring fine too from where you are. So, what course your comfort zone, New Georgia? Diana Dennis from Manhattan, the United States of America. Sia Cadino Kruman from 18th Street, Morovia, Nina Kuya from North Dakota, Fargo, Abraham B. Kruman from the Intellectual Exchange at Japanese Freeway, Iron Factory. This area blog as District 18 seem to have a couple of intellectual centers. That's good. That's good. Jackson C. Punin have come on alongside his chairman, Romancio Latupan, Kenneball, or Rico for short. Good to have you people on your set from Block 18 Intellectual Center. You people have your radio on loud at the center, listening to the show and watching on your respective phones. That's good. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. James Ya Senior, you are on from La Cote d'Ivoire. Asada Miller, red light as usual. Gertrude J.D. Williams, Johnsonville. Juju One-Way, Johnsonville. Ibrahim Cully, you say hello, hello. Aloysius. Okay, all of you great people can just go calling everybody because time is of the essence. The names are running down. Duarte, I'm just about to ask for my dear Southeasty sister. You're balling East View days though. Balling East View there. I just watch you. I just give you Christy. You bluffing, you're provoking, you're teasing. Duarte, hope that you are very well, my dear Southeasty sister. Please extend my greetings to my dear brother. Good to have you on. I was just about to ask for you. Okay. So time is of the essence. Get your 4,000 from the King's Cash giveaway. Dial *799 *24 hatch. Play with $1 or $1 or just 70 cents. 70 cents. Before we get started, let's bring you this information. This is what we are, professional at our best. We take your goods off the shelf and get that business in the eyes of the people as very, very vibrant. Liberty Fortune can help, but always want to be associated with things and real talk. Face the issues, talk about it.
It's a Bonario, CBD Pila Patala, Liberty Fortune Company is there for every one of us. If you wanna get money easy, Liberty Fortune Cash and win, they will make you get a tap. Hey, yeah. If you wanna get money easy, buy a Liberty Fortune stock card. Scratch and win, they will make it a get a copper. Yeah. So let me see your hands up for Liberty. I said we are a big puffer. I said we are a big puffer. Let me see your hands up for Liberty. I said we are a big puffer. I said we got a big puffer. You can play with your $1 US or equivalent 200. Simple mathematics. When you buy a Liberty, you win your money straight. Liberty Fortune scratch and win, make it is easy. Just put it in your scratch card, then you ask for Liberty. Buy a card, then you pay. Stand a chance to win. You can win up to 10,000 US. Now if you wanna get money easy, buy Liberty Fortune scratch card. Scratch and win, so make it a get yeah. If you want to get money easy, buy Liberty Fortune scratch card. Scratch and win, so make it a get yeah. Yeah, I keep the people free. You have to pay your church. So I'm a play again. You know I keep the people free. You have to pay your church. Come and get your money. You know I keep the people free. You have to improve your business. Come and play again. You know I keep the people free. You have to play your fine soul. If you want to get money easy, I Liberty Fortune scratch card. Scratch and win, so make it a get yeah. If you want to get money easy, buy Liberty Fortune scratch card. Scratch and win, so make it a get yeah. So let me see your hands up for Liberty. I said we got a big puffer. I said we got a big puffer. Let me see your hands up for Liberty. I said we got a big puffer. I said we got a big puffer. So let me see your hands up for Liberty. I said we got a big puffer.
Oh, yes. If you haven't started squatching, well, get ready or get started. Squatch. When you squatch, well, your problem is solved. It's 10K. It's US, not Liberian dollars. US, 10,000. Imagine winning 10,000 United States dollars. What do you need again? All your problems solved. That's what Liberty Fortune is all about. uh, I, I just hope I can have such an opportunity. 10K US. So you see, you want to start playing, continue to play. It's just squash. That's all. And then it's 10,000. 10,000 US, United States dollars. Not Liberty. 10,000. So don't start. Pay attention to it. That 10K, Hayaka. 10K in a kind of time, Nebuchadnezzar reign, you get 10,000 United States dollars. Well, I know you won't need to worry again about any problem because everything is solved right there. Okay. So on the other side, we are giving 4,000. The King's Cash giveaway, 4,000 Liberian dollars. Dial *79 and *24#. Play with $1 or 70 cents US, and then you can have your 4K on a Tuesday. That one also can do so much for you. So let's get started. That time is of the essence, but please, I want you to listen to this carefully before I unpack what I have to unpack. Please, if you are a Liberian, if you aren't, but you are concerned about this country if you know the history of this country and the sycophancy, the pretense. If you know how it has been over the years, the criticisms, the condemnations, the silence, the protests of all kinds, and how people were speechless when people were saying all kinds of things, using all kinds of expressions, even going to the extent of telling investors yesterday not to come into Liberia. Those they would say to other people, don't come into the country because dead bodies were all over the street. They weren't thinking about anything called war drum. They weren't thinking nationalistic or patriotic. No, they weren't any one of those things. People were doing a lot yesterday. They were in their respective professions, their respective political parties. They muted themselves because they just felt that something needed to be done. Somebody needed to exit. So they muted themselves. They had no time whatsoever. Today, they are sounding louder. They think they are more patriotic. The Creator is saying, or the people who are in, who control the power, the status quo, they created the mess that we are in. They saw it from day one. They knew it was wrong. They muted themselves. Voices were going out from the few corners of society, the media, and a few civil society like the Center for Transparency and Accountability, one or two individuals and institutions. They will call the power that be to order that this is wrong, you're treading the wrong path, this will create chaos. This is a recipe for chaos. They were not listening to those people then. They were not having news conferences. They were not calling news conferences. They were not saying that we are the master of war. They were not saying that we know war, that we can bring war, we can prevent war. They were not coming out to say, Mr. President, what you are doing is wrong. It is against the law. It is tantamount to war. This will plunge this country into another. They were not looking in the face of the king, of the president. They were not saying anything when the very president started it. They were muted. They were not saying anything when state security would go and inflict bodily harm on peaceful citizens covered by the Constitution. They saw it broad day. They saw it on screens. They heard it on radio stations. They heard it in the various newscasts. They heard it everywhere. They did not come to give press conference. All of them, they were muted. They heard few lawmakers complaining. They heard lawmakers were brutalized. Some of them were taken to hospital. They did not come to call press conferences and say, Mr. President, you created this. This is wrong. They did not say that it was wrong and is tantamount to war when a few handful of lawmakers went and desecrated by burglarizing the office of the speaker. They did not come to have any press conference. All of these awful things happened, which could put the country at the brink of another round of conflict. They were muted. They did not say anything whatsoever. Today, they are shouting and trumpeting all over the place as if war is coming in this country when the country is already in war created by Mr. President, acting like they're so Liberian, they're so nationalistic, but sycophantic. If I have not had any, hmm, LRB, this country, listen, the country can be cursed, individual can be cursed. Individual can be cursed, the country can be cursed. Curse is simply what you ought to do, and you refuse, and you know that what you are doing on the other side is deliberate, it's intentional, and you support it or you get involved. Now, to get out of it, you expect that people will empathize with your evil. That is a curse. Voices were sounded, the signs were on the wall. People started calling, ringing the bell for people to wake up and listen and speak out. Nobody, nobody. Today, they say they have a news conference. I want you to listen to this nationalistic piece, this patriotic piece, which, if this has not sunk into your conscience, if you are a Liberian and you can have that understanding that if ever was the time for us to know that Mr. President, those around him, they are not immune from error, they can plunge this country into a problem. If you have not known that everybody has the responsibility to speak out when you see something is wrong, now is the time. Voices were going from the very onset that this is wrong. This will lead the country into something different. Everybody, with the exception of the few voices, said it was not necessary. They bow to Nebuchadnezzar, worship Nebuchadnezzar. Today, they acting like they are more Liberian. No, they aren't. Before I unpack what I have, I beg you all, just listen. This is what the Bible calls voice of reason, wisdom. God did not call anybody to remain silent into anything. Everybody is a stakeholder. Everybody who is a citizen of this country is a stakeholder. Everybody is the protector of the peace, stability, security of this country. Hence, everybody has got to speak out because, as you will hear in this clip that I'm about to play, if anything goes haywire, down to the people who are saying today they allow more at news conferences, they will be finding somewhere to go. Because violence does not discriminate like violence. If violence would discriminate, we wouldn't have had thousands of people of all of whatever the status. We would not have seen minister hiding, changing his name. We would not have seen pastor going on the other side, acting as the person he wasn't before. We would not have seen people disguising themselves to be saved. We would not have seen pastors denying God in heaven a survivor. When they tell you this expression is into a watch, meaning as you hear the sound, take it serious. Drop the political sentiment in this thing. Where we are now, the country is in a war, if you don't know. Before I go further, please listen carefully to this piece of advice, nationalistic, patriotic caution, which, if this is played before Mr. President, in quietude, you just listen to it. Joseph Human Walker will shed tears and start to confess. Have a listen.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is one way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong, and no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their side is there. Where our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on profession, you got to step down and protect your country. We are citizens. If there is one way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working on profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong, and no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their side is there. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their side is there. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their side is there. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their side is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. But to be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to stick to the truth, stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
Right. Over the days, we've heard statements like war drum, master of war, and on and on. They were reacting to statements that were nationalistic and patriotic. The former vice president of the Republic of Liberia, Joy Howard Taylor, a lawyer herself, who is not somebody that will rely on other people to tell her what is what in accordance with the law, was at the opposition meeting. And she made this statement: conditionally, if the government wants chaos, we will give them chaos. No sooner had that meeting ended, it was all flooded around the place with different reactions. Then came the guys from Alcorp saying that they are the master of war. Hold on to those two. Let me put those two in context before we go to the text. The vice president, the former vice president, is the former vice president, knows what it is to be in leadership, to take decision. And decision making in leadership is costly. It goes with a lot more. The leader is at the point in his leadership to look at a situation, despite the pieces of advice coming from his advisors, to sit down, look at this one and say, no, if I did this, if I go public with this, not only will it be misinterpreted, but everybody will see the wrong. Moreover, it will have a negative impact on the country. Therefore, we will not go with it. I swallowed the bitter pills, but we will not go. Given her experience, she made a patriotic statement, I consider it that way, which was conditional, not initiating anything of war, not calling people into conflict. The former vice president, that's the last thing she will ever do, to incite people by words to get into the street against the government. She referred to a conflict already created, war in itself, by the very president from the very first day, got so serious, the country is on the brink of collapse. And these people in their wisdom moved to salvage or to save the country from going down the drain. How that statement is a war statement that led Alcorp to say that the statement made by the former vice president is not only a war drum statement, but they are the master of war. Put the two statements on the table. If you are rational enough, who will you see as creating or want to create or creating a tension-driven atmosphere? The person who said that I am the master of war. That statement means that we have every capacity to do anything as evident by our past which we still have today. And so if anybody think that they are war driven, we are the master. We have all of our arms and ammunition. We are ready at any time to unleash. Any serious government will immediately shut down ARCOP. When I say shut down, I mean to react and say that was wrong. You cannot come in defense of a government, of a president that created a war atmosphere. You compile it by telling the nation, creating a tension or exacerbating the already heightened tension that you, as a political party, you are a master of war, and you claim that you're maintaining peace. How can you be maintaining peace? How can you claim to be a peaceful political party? You're using expression that the people today don't want to hear because they're still living with that psychological scar from the war. They don't want to hear war, neither. We are the master of war. A political party in ARCOP will stoop so low and think they were sounding nationalistic. The party has come to tell us truly that they participated in the war. They still maintain all of their warlike attitude, and they can unleash anything in this country. And I can tell anybody, you'll be careful with ARCOP, because the chairman of the party said it. He said they are master of war. He said it, that they are master of war. Now, you want to be careful with ARCOP political party. How can a political party that claims to be helping to maintain the peace using? Now, here is it. You know what you do? If somebody, in your opinion, sounded unruly, do you go to sound unruly too? No. One person goes to pacify the atmosphere if he understands the atmosphere. So assume that the former vice president made the statement that if the government wants chaos, we'll give them chaos. Understanding the culture, I wouldn't go, if I were in a political setting, go and say, the vice president, the former vice president said this and that. Let me tell you, we are the master of war. I will not look at it from the perspective of the vice president. I will look at it from the country perspective. Move in to pacify the situation. That the country is peaceful, the country is this, we're moving this and that. People entitled to their opinion, don't get jitter. All of those things mean nothing. They are the normal in any intellectual setting. But because most of the political parties in this country not mature, they come out because they want to get money from the power that be. They want to have favor from the president. That statement made by ARCOP tells everybody or brings people memory back of the war days. They supported their war fashion was what? Ulimo J was Ulimo Johnson. Alhaji Komar and Alhaji Komar formed ARCOP. Why it is true, why we will not want to go back on the past, but equally the party has to be careful because the war record still exists. That is why the people who are in leadership ought to be far-sighted. The war record of ARCOP and all other political parties are in the minds and the hands of the people of this country. ARCOP is not neutral. ARCOP did not come. They did not umbrella themselves today. They are not a new party. They are a war party. They've gone down in history as a fashion party. That is the reason why the chairman stood up with the support of Unity Party people who have caused the problem. The country is at the brink, and they are bringing or they brought out the food And you anchor people in an intellectual exercise. When they say bringing food out of the person, that means they use you as surrogate. Because they did it yesterday, Unity Party was all around yesterday. They did it, and they knew that it was wrong. So today, they didn't want anybody to do it. So they're not going in the forefront to talk, to say it was wrong. So they encourage, they persuade others who not far-sighted, use them as surrogate to go in front and talk. So they bring the food out of what they call bringing food out of the person. Meaning, if the person is not far-sighted, the person is used as surrogate. Get them few money, allow them to go and talk. Then here is the next man, the another war party, the National Patriotic Party of Liberia. I am not mixing my words. I'm calling you people that way as per your character in this country. Everybody knows you're for that, except for the unborn children. George Mulba, and let me say, thank God Almighty for George Mulba. Thank God. Thank God Almighty. Do you know that sometimes suffering is good? Just as we are told in sociology that conflict is necessary, not all of the time, but certain conflict necessary. Also, suffering is also necessary. No disrespect to this man. I am saying it because I know why he's coming up and talking now. This man, look at that man. Who, if you knew George Mulba years back, you know what I'm talking about. That man was very, very fat. Very fat. You know why? He was enjoying. From Ellen's time into Weir's time, he was enjoying. All kinds of things were happening in this country. That man ain't come out to say anything whatsoever because he was enjoying. Fast forward, look at George Mulba now. George Mulba has gone slim. Nothing reduced him but suffering. Sometimes you wonder what the guy can do with the money from the legislature, the executive. Things not working with him. We are help him. We are give him a job. When he left, when Ellen, when he was booted out of the legislature, we are extended his goodwill to him, giving a job to survive. What he did, what he didn't do, how he managed his money, how he didn't manage it, the man got dragged. You look at George Mulba today. That's why I say suffering, sometimes suffering good. It can reduce you. Because I think if that man had remained fat that way, just expanding, he was going to die. Because obesity, the doctors will tell you obesity is just one inch away from death. That's why those of you who just keep yourself fat, you have to start taking exercise and trim your diet. It is not a good thing. Nobody should ever live with that jumbo degree. Your women, men, you take exercise, you eat the appropriate diet, you do the long hours sleep. Obesity, according to the medical people, is just 1 inch from death. 1 inch away from death. You're just getting fat and fat. People see, oh, mind you fat, oh, mind your body good. No. Plenty of people say that to man. Mind your fall down. No wait for man to wake again at the end. Oh, brother, you really enjoying your body. You really getting fat, oh. But look at you. You have grown big. Then you started laughing. Brother, just fall down one time. No way for brother to wake again at the end. So the man, yes, the man. I want you to listen to this man for this country. Have a listen to the man. He said he's speaking against violence. Listen to the irony of these people. You're speaking against violence when The violence was created. The country is in war. You know what it means when the president of the country looks at the Supreme Court and says the Supreme Court is insignificant? He's not going to accept anything from the Supreme Court. He will do according to what he wishes or what he wants. That's dictatorship. That's despotism. That's tyrannism. That is the beginning of a war. A conflict is where two or three persons cannot agree. So if you have the three branches of government, they're not in one accord. Isn't that a conflict? Isn't that a war? War simply means a clash between two or more persons. There is no agreement. They are not in one accord. Isn't that what God meant when he said a house divided against itself, a house at war, a house with conflict, a house that is in turtles? Was he not referring to everybody exercising their right as the way they wanted, not respecting each other, not listening to anybody? The country already in war. The president started this thing from the very first day. All of these people who call themselves Liberians, they were around, they stayed here, they heard, they read, they discussed it behind the scene. They never came out to call press conference. You see the sycophancy, and that's what has kept this country backward because of the gullibility of people, how subservient they are. They are at the mercy of few capital dollars. They want to be seen by the king as the one who praises him for all. Instead of looking up to the king's face and say, this is wrong. If these people had just come out from the onset and said, Mr. President, what is we heard, though it's an accusation, but we hope that you are not involved with that Capitol building something. We heard the police beating lawmakers. This is wrong. This could send this country into another thing. We saw the police and the motorbikes, the motorcyclists. This is wrong. And we think this country, this could plunge this country into another. You know what nationalism is? When you can look at the wrong and say, nationalism is not. You look at the wrong, it's wrong, and you refuse to speak, but because the power that be gave you small money, then you come out, you're sounding loud, you're ranting all over the place, that you're more concerned. You are a sycophant. You are devil in Satan incarnate. You disguise yourself. Listen to this man. Listen to this man.
Liberia, as one of the largest countries in Africa, that resolved this crisis on the ground table and not repress the crisis from simple issues that go on in the legislature. As a matter of fact, the fact that the Liberian highest court, the Supreme Court, has affixed its signature on the petition to re-argue, it means there is no ruling to be enforced on the re-argument is taken, and that's what the law says. We, as my colleague from PDP said, we cannot and will never support as a National Patriotic Party any action formed with the propensity to revisit our occupiers. We, as my colleague from PUP said, we cannot and will never support as a National Patriotic Party any action formed with the propensity to revisit our occupiers. We, as my colleague from PUP said, we cannot and will never support as a National Patriotic Party any action formed with the propensity to revisit our occupiers. Since 2003, we have set our signature as the National Patriotic Party government at the time. For people to be sold in this country, we are always been a part of peace.
All those times, from the very inception or ascendancy to the presidency of Joseph Boakai till today, conflict. All those things have been happening, the B Martin situation, and on we can name all of those things. Why did the NPP not come out with a news conference? Why did PUP not come up with a news conference? Why did ACOP not come up with news conference? Why they will not come out with news conference about widespread corruption all over the place? Why they will not come out to speak against all of those things? Are those things not signs or elements of conflict? Why they were muted all of those times? Only because the opposition met. And here is it. I told you the strategy of Unity Party. Okay, I'm just being told by my news director that the 4 political parties are convening presently. So yes, I think, yes, last week I said it, they said they were coming out with their position statement. We need to bring that to you. So they will not have a news conference to say any one of those things. They did not come up with anything whatsoever. Now they've called news conference what it is. Okay, so I bet you let's go to the 4 political parties. I think they are releasing their position today.
Will designate 3 persons in the next 48 hours to the Secretariat. We'll be submitting those names to Chairman Orishogu, and I will be coordinating the group. We'll call on all stakeholders, various political parties are here present, kindly submit in the next 48 hours 3 names. I'll be working on the Secretariat, and we can assure President Bonta and the Unity Party that you'll be hearing from us very, very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman Cole. You want to give the chairman another hand on the floor, please? Amanda! Let's recognize the Senator of Martin County, former chairman of the Congress of Democratic Change, Senator Nathaniel McGill. Amanda, they will not distract us at word two. Amanda, they will not distract us at word two. Oh, opposition United States. Opposition United States. Respond. Opposition United States. Amanda, don't get distracted at word two. Amanda. So we will quickly call on Senator McGill to briefly speak to us before we close this all important meeting. Senator McGill. Before Senator McGill will take Mr. Masale to speak to us from the All of North Solidarity Party. Amanda.
Well, we don't have much to say today. We are stakeholders and people of the Republic of Liberia have to respect the rule of law, and we demand the rule of law for anybody, no matter who you think you can be. Nobody in this country is above the law. Nobody. From the president down to the sweeper, we are all subject to the law. So if someone thinks that they are above the law, the country citizen and its stakeholder will deny you to come to the law. The last arbiter of law in this country is the Supreme Court. So we must all respect the court. Why do you think people go to court? To go seek redress. because you want justice. And if justice comes and you cannot obey that justice, we will demand you to forcibly obey the justice. We are citizens of the country and we are stakeholders. So let me remind the government again. The chairman has spoken. We are going to make our contribution and we are going to work with the committee to make sure that the rule of law will be respected.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. That's Chairman Matale from the All Address Solidarity Party. So we take remarks from the Senator of Madibi County, Senator Natanda McGill.
Amanda! Amanda! Thank you very much. Let me, on behalf of the CEC Legislative Caucus, on behalf of senators who believe in the Constitution, I want to say thanks to the leadership of the political parties that are represented here today. I want to recognize the chairman of the ANC, on whose party ground we are holding this very important meeting. And I also want to recognize the political leaders of the various parties that are represented here. You know, I'm a senator. This struggle is not about fanatic over. So I want to make the point very clear. This is not
You're listening to a live news conference or deliberations at the headquarters of the Alternative National Congress, where the opposition bloc in Liberia.
to impose fanatic over as speaker on his police. This effort is an effort intended to protect the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. I hear people in the government honestly that the Supreme Court does not have the power to enforce a decision, therefore you should not take the decision. The Constitution gave the legislature the only power we have as lawmaker is derived from the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. The power the president and members of the executive, including the police, including the Attorney General, who has the authority to arrest people and ensure that people are prosecuted under the executive. The only reason why he can do that is because of one instrument. That instrument is the Constitution that gives him the power. Similarly, the Constitution gave the Supreme Court the power to interpret all laws, rules, laws, and the Constitution. When the Supreme Court interprets the Constitution, the executive, headed by the president, they are under obligation. Under obligation is not something that is not a choice. It is an authority from the Constitution that they have to enforce the decision of the Supreme Court. And it is sad today in Liberia that members of the executive will not say they don't respect any ruling of the Supreme Court, but they want to go back to the court to get their ruling that will favor them, then they respect the court. It is a sad story. It is also seen that when the Supreme Court makes decision, the people of Liberia, who authority the Constitution is ascribed, you put police in the street just because they posted they want to defend the Constitution, you put police in the street. You only have two things that happen. Either you suspend the Constitution, you bring military regime that we don't want. That we don't want because it's a democracy. It is a democracy. And democracy is protected by the rule of law. Democracy. Liberia will not go back to the old past. They will not go back. But we are under obligation as leaders of the country. In 2017, more than 1,000 people went to election. Each one of our God supporters. Some people won with just 400 votes. Some poll won with 2,000 votes. Some poll won difference of 50 votes. But because the constitution says you can win on simple majority, poll won, so today you get authority. So it's a shame that our police, some of whom in the lower house, will now assume that they are bigger than Liberia. They're not bigger than Liberia. And I want to call on the president, as a son of Lofa country, not to be misled by individuals. Look, there are history in the country. When you are the president, President Bagabi, listen to me, because I had the opportunity to be chief of staff of the president. When you are the president of the republic, you have people around you who tell you to do the wrong thing. But when you fail, they will say you can't listen. Those people say you can't listen. President Baka, you said God wanted you to be president. And you are president of the Republic of Liberia. You have to maintain and make sure you protect the Constitution of the Republic because you took an oath to do so. So I want to make it clear. I hear people say, OCC or the opposition want to use Francis Koba so they can undermine the government. That's not true. Because we are part and parcel of the government, we're not undermining it. Look, I tell people, listen, enjoy your year. President Weah, a member of the opposition, majority of the supported him. He decided that he will relinquish power to make sure that democracy reign in the country. So when I use a small office like Speaker Bentley to try to undermine the country, but at the same time, we got to call on you, Mr. President, to respect the decision of the Supreme Court, not to undermine the decision of the Supreme Court. Today, we see a lot of young children running around and say, oh, the court, they will not respect the court, they get power. They're not true. The Constitution gave, there's no way the Constitution has said the Senate or the House of Representatives can reject a ruling from the court. Because under Article 66 of our Constitution, the court has authority to interpret a random decision that affects citizens of the Republic. So it's important. So it is not wrong for you to stand up for the Constitution. Nobody should make you a threat. Not even the police director. Because let the police director know. Let the police director know today. You may have the gun. You may come after our people. But mind you, after you leave, there will be war crime coming. Some of you will be held for human rights abuses. So remember this today. You can take all the gun you're going around, think you can suppress people. But then you see people say defend Constitution, you put police in the street, you think you're making people afraid. But you're not going to make police, you're not going to make Liberian people afraid. We are not threatening anything. We are saying, even you, the policeman, you are under obligation to respect the Constitution of the Republic. So you don't make people afraid. You don't make Liberians afraid by getting in the street, by putting police in the street, you running around. No police know. You just do what you want to do. You think you can use guns to suppress Liberian people because they're standing up for the rule of law? They're not for CDC. They're not for ANC. They're not for CMC. They're not for Liberty Party. They're not for ARP. It's not about any opposition party. It's about the Constitution of the Republic. Liberian, you have rights. There's not a party business. This is your fundamental right that you are playing with. If the book they respect the court, they can arrest any one of you. You go to court, the court rule in your favor and say they're not accepting it because they get power, they get gun, will take for you in jail. So we want to call our young brothers who today have power. Some of them, you know who I'm talking to. Some of you got power today. And you are abusing the very people who gave you power. And believing that you can do that to suppress the people. But mind you, my brother, there were more than 24 leaders ahead of you. There will be people after you. But remember, you will account for your days in office. And the people of Liberia will not be afraid to stand up for the right thing. So, yeah, when people go to court, you know, the party, my friend went, they started accusing me, former vice president, or trying to bring, nobody in the opposition want to bring any war. And I want to thank the opposition community to continue to stand up for the rule of law. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid, because the days of reckoning will soon be here. Those who are violating the rights of Liberians will have to answer one day. I don't care how long it takes, you will answer. You will answer. No one is above the law. It takes you 10 years, you will answer for things they are doing. So I want all the presidents to open your eyes. To open your eyes. To open your eyes. To know that what is happening to the people of Liberia is not right. Is that right? Respect the decision. Respect the decision. Fonanti is a member of the House of Representatives. A police elected him. And if they want to move him, they should move him based on the procedure laid down in the Constitution. The Supreme Court has made a decision. Fonanti is the speaker. Fonanti is the speaker. But the people, the members of the legislature, members of the House of Representatives, still have right to say, you are the speaker, but we don't want you that you are responsible, that you are prerogative. It's not our prerogative. If they are prerogative, if they want to move in, they can move in. If Fonanti decide that, low, for the country's sake, I want to make the decision in the interest of Liberian people, it is Fonanti right. It is the right of Fonanti. But the decision of the court must be respected. And I want to promise you, we are calling on our Senate colleagues, to stand up for the people of Liberia. Because if you don't stand up for the people of Liberia, 2029 will be here. You will come back to seek the mandate from the people. And the people will say, but you were there, you didn't listen. You were there because of yourself. And so I want to encourage you. We want Liberians to stand up for the rule of law in a peaceful way. In a peaceful way. Because now the amazing that the opposition want to use the Fonanti situation to hold the government hostage. Nobody wants the government to be held hostage. So we want to make it clear. We want to debunk that misinformation. It's not in our interest. It was not in our interest in 2023 when President we are considered. It is not in our interest today. No, we don't want to take power forcibly. The people of Liberia will return power to the opposition. They will return power to the opposition. The opposition will act collectively. And when that day comes, a leader will be decided. And the opposition will act together. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The police will do what they want to do. Gregory Coleman knows very well. You can pass it around. You will not you violate people, right? You will answer. Gregory will answer. So anybody, whether you're a military man, you're a policeman, when you violate even your official government, your days will come that you will answer. I don't care how long it takes you to answer. So I want to encourage you. We want to encourage the political parties to continue to stand together. We in the Senate and members of the legislature will continue to advocate on your behalf. We'll continue to speak for you. This country belongs to everyone. It does not belong to one political party. It does not belong to a president. It does not belong to a senator or a member of Liberia. And under Article 1 of our Constitution, you have the power. You made a government. And you can demand the government to act for and on your behalf. So I want to thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to assure you that you are not in this alone. We are in it together. And God bless you.
The chairman of the Legislative Caucus of the Congress for Democratic Change, Senator Nathaniel McGill, speaking at the opposition gathering. They have set today, Tuesday, having met last week, to release the official position statement going forward to the government against deliberate, unregrettable breaking of the law. You will hear other speakers coming on, but that was Senator Nathaniel McGill. He couldn't have put it any better. Joseph Yumabwaga thinks that everybody will move according to his will and pleasure, or that he is the lone voice in this country. He isn't the lone voice. This is not Bwaka dynasty. No, this is the Republic of Liberia. He has to. You're listening to Real Talk on Kings 88.5 with me, Sam Andrews. On this 29th day of April 2025, my director of news, very brilliant guy, dear Shamandia, is here with me and getting these things on the air. That's what it is in broadcast. You hear one person talking, but there are too many people behind the scene. But you only hear one person talking. Without those people, you can't hear the one person talking. That's what broadcast it is. It's a collective effort. Okay, so while we process the next voice, let's get to you to have your say as quickly as can. Let's take a few calls on this one. Those of you following online, you have the number on your screen. Those of you in Liberia, you have 0772-2399-33 and 0779-80375. But hold on, let's go back. Let's bring you one more voice, then we can turn to you.
Cannot embrace a Levitian. Liberia cannot embrace a strong man. Liberia can only embrace a strong institution. And so the CMC is here today in solidarity with political parties in this momentous march to emancipate Liberia from the spiral of international ignominy, from decadence, from all of the negative indices that we see happening here today. So we are here today to speak to the government directly, that we feel that the government has broken the social contract theory. The theory that the government signed with the people of Liberia, that the Constitution will be the supreme and organic law of the Republic. We see that the government is abrogating the Constitution. And under the Constitution, this amounts to treason. The Liberian people, under the guise of Article 1, have got the power to redress, to recourse, to re-engineer the democracy and to save this nation from fast cascading into those dark years, and to ensure that we preserve a prosperous, a peaceful, safer society for our children and our children's children. So the CMC is here today in solidarity with every Liberian who is angry about the bastardization of the Constitution. The CMC stands in solidarity with every Liberian who thinks that the nation is fast cascading off the trajectory of democracy. We live in a democracy. We do not live in an autocracy. We do not live in an authoritarian regime. We do not live in a despotism. We live in a country where every citizen has got the right, their rights must be protected. You can't have the Supreme Court. When I was in high school, I was told that the Supreme Court was the highest court in the country. I was told that when the Supreme Court opines, its verdict was royal gospel, that you could only appeal to heaven. The Supreme Court have the final say on all matters of life and death. In Liberia today, the Supreme Court no longer has the final say on matters of life and death under this government. The Supreme Court must be respected. The court has spoken. We want to rally the Liberian people. This is not time where you fall back on common partisanship. This is not the time where you blind your eyes to reality and say because you belong to a certain political party or a certain quadrant of society, you are going to blind your eyes to the voice of justice. It was Blaise Pascal who said these words many years ago, that whatever is just must be powerful, so that whatever is powerful must be just. You cannot have a social society with immense incompatibilities and contradictions. So we are here in solidarity with all political parties. We're here to send a clarion call to all CMCians around this country that very soon you will receive your marching orders. We will have to stand for justice. We will have to stand for democracy. We will have to stand for the rule of law. We will have to stand for the Constitution of the Republic. And I want to leave you with these words. That most times our people gather to express themselves, they are oftentimes met with police brutality. They are oftentimes met with jail sentences, where police will come and arrest you, intimidate you, and harass you. As if under the Constitution you don't have the right to express yourselves. Well, we're here to tell you that this phase is a phase of self-purification. We are prepared for this challenge. That even if they bundle you up and take you to jail, you march on into those jails and change them from a dungeon of shame to a haven of freedom and human dignity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bangura. So we'll quickly take on the representative from the National Patriotic Party to say a few.
Former Deputy Minister.
That was the voice of Wilfred Bangura of the CMC. Let's go back.
Well, like you all know, the National Patriotic Party has come a long way in this country. We have had the experience of real governance, not the experience that we see here today. Whatever you see the NPP to be a part of, you know it's a serious thing. We who have had no cause to be around talking about governance today, the rule of law for peaceful coexistence. We agreed to whatever the results were, and we give way for people to live peacefully. If there is any contradiction, we come by to tell you that we do not support it, and we look forward to everyone across this country not to think like someone said, it is Fonati Kofa's business. No, it's not about Fonati. It could be you tomorrow, you take into court, and probably have read it as render and they say, no, they disagree. So again, let me come back to tell you, please be ready for whatever action that will come, provided the Secretariat and the rest of the political parties decide the direction to take, and I'm sure we're going to stand by the law. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Lastly, we will take the representation from the Liberal Party's present, Mr. Kanga.
Like I said, good evening again to our leaders, the immediate past government, CDC, and members of the CMC and other collaborating political parties that are standing to defend the rule of law. I am a founding member of the Liberty Party that I always supported the Liberty Party since 2005. But when it came to an auction in a round where we needed to decide between the current president, President Joseph Nima Bouaka, and President George Manda, we are in 2023. We chose competence over tribalism. We chose competence over divisiveness. We chose competences over wickedness. And we fairness to the president. We are in the runoff. Unfortunately for us, and due to the respectability of the rule of law, President, we are graciously conceded defeat in a minimum margin. The current performance and action of the president have proven to me that if he were the president, he wouldn't have accepted defeat and to turn government over. If he cannot succumb and accept defeat for a single speaker position, you wouldn't turn over a government that get 5,000 appointees that manage billions of dollars in Labembo resources. You don't turn such government over. So, since we reconcile our party, Liberty Party, and some few individuals based upon their own selfish political interest decided to stay aligned with this government, I was able to mobilize LP partisans, calling ourselves the non-alliance members of the Labour Party that stand by the rule of law. Because if Councillor
You're following even live from the headquarters of the alternative.
Charles Walker Bronsky was alive, he would have been silenced. For the flagrant violation of the rule of law and the disobedience to the Supreme Court, which in keeping with Article 76, a treason. When you subvert the ruling of the Constitution or Supreme Court, it's treason. Because Article 66 and Article 65 of the Constitution make it very clear when the Supreme Court rule, all branches of government will abide. Nobody can alter. And the executive is under the obligation to implement, to enforce. We need a backline. You took oath to defend and protect the Constitution. But President Joseph Boakai had made me to retrospect that the same idea he borrowed from the junta regime under Samakana Do, when they overthrew a legitimate government toba, and he was one of the cabinet ministers and they were using the title mayor, where they looted this country with all accountability. That's the same style of leadership want to introduce in a legitimate government. And I, Kalomina Mishakanga, a proud son of Grand Basakanda, a founding member of the Labour Party, who believe in the ideology of Councillor Charles Walker Bronsky, he wouldn't have been silent. He won all in 2017 about the evil pregnancy and won all against President Joseph Nima Boakai today. It has come to pass. And I stand with the majority to resist lawlessness and violation of our Constitution and submit.
Thank you. That was a very powerful message there from the non-alliance member of the Labour Party, Mr. Kanga. Thank you very much. With that being said, Amanda, the team they're looking for, they can sit down. Oh, they're looking for, they can sit down. Alema opposition bene. We spell the rule of law. Alama promise bene. Alama we are bene. Alama bene. Alama bene. Amanda, Africa away to. Amanda, you must respect the rule of law away to. Amanda, no negotiation away to. Opposition, you know they say. We force you to respect our political say. We will not negotiate what you say. Amanda. And so we will take the vote of thanks quickly, and that will be done by the host, chairman again, Chairman Lafia Oresho Good. Chairman Good.
Thank you. Enough have been said. All I want to say to the government and the people of Liberia, the opposition is very serious. We will respect the rule of law. If anyone out there will be thinking that we're not serious, we want you to think again. We're very serious and we will respect the rule of law. You can take that to the bank. We will not be lawless, but this government will respect the rule of law. Thank you very much.
That was the position of the opposition community at the headquarters of the Alternative National Congress. They announced last week that they were going to send a message to the government, and they did just that. They stood by their word. The government is doing everything it can to chunk market range in the opposition. That means figuratively some dialogues so that they have them breaking apart, that they will no longer hold together because no government wants a strong opposition. Every government wants a fragmented opposition. That way they can sail through with all of their sinister acts. It is our understanding that these guys are together. They have formed a strong synergy. I don't think they're going to crack. If they were ever cracked, maybe it will be in the next war. They are ready to face up to the reign of Joseph Yeman Boakai. They have sent a strong message not only to this government, but the international community. Over the days, you will hear statements coming from the international community against what is unfolding in Liberia. They got their investments yet. They have pumped in so much money into this country. The government is creating an uneasy atmosphere, getting checkpoints everywhere, putting police people out. And ironically, they don't know that they are driving investors away already. Nobody is coming to the country. We were told by the European head that investors are not leaving their country to come to Liberia, and those foreign few that are here, they are packing up their bags to leave Liberia. We are not in war. There is no gun, no MOA, no M16, no BZT, nothing, nobody running helter-skelter in this country. But the war is raging. When people are just discouraged, they just don't feel secure, they are staying away from your country, they are telling you that you don't have the guns, the MOA, and other things in the street, but you are at war. Your country is not safe. The singular or the most important thing that attracts any investor to a given country is a secure environment, an assured environment. When there is nothing like that, you can preach the message of assurance, of goodwill. You can sound rhetorical more than the guys who brought rhetoricism in place. You can even sound more than God. Nobody will ever trust you to come. Today, do you hear Unity Party people boasting of investors coming into the country? Have you heard? Have you seen them flooding Facebook with that? No. You know why? Because nobody is coming to the country. Yesterday, it was one of their anthems that investors were not coming to the country. We are was not the kind of person to attract investors. He is a footballer and nobody knows him. Investors not coming into the country. They who now are the best people, nobody is coming. Investors not coming. On top of it, Boakai has made it even easier and justifiable why investors should not come. The Unity Party is its own problem. Just sit down. You look at a whole country. You took 7 months, almost 7 months, to remove one person. The whole world knows. Let's get to the line, man. Let's get to the line. You're sit down. Oh, it's gone bad. It's gone bad. It's gone bad. Bad. That's how God works. You never, all of the evil you did and you're still doing, God will expose you one by one. And I told you that at MCC something before AB announced it on his show. And I told you that I think at first that money was never ever going to come to Liberia. You ain't even go nowhere. You ain't said I'm good. Then you're flooded Facebook, lying all over the place. We had took 6 years. He could not secure 5 million. Boakai came on just 1 year. Boakai has secured 500 million. What the 500 million now? Where the 500 million from the Millennium Compact Challenge? Where the 500 million? Who wants to put their money in this country? It is not the war. It is not guns, not the bullet, not the fighting all over the place that prevent people from coming to your country, even though it's a factor. But the main thing, the greatest, the most dangerous, sorry, not the greatest, but the most dangerous weapon in a warfare, that what Boakai done so. Look at the rule of law, look at the Supreme Court and say you're insignificant. What kind of sound educated people who know, who have vast experience, about investment. Wherever say let's go to Liberia, when they see the kind of thing there, we go to that place. When something happens, the people sees our business. Where will we go? We not have justice anywhere. So let us not go there because we are foreigners. They will not protect us when something happens. Armed men will come all over the place. You know that the people see Liberia now as a dictator, a state, as a dictatorial state. That's how they see Liberia now from the international perspective. Do you know that the people now, they are cautious, they're advising people how or how they come to Liberia? Oh, you're sitting there, forget it, this week you'll start hearing some. And you say we opposition, we can just talk that loose talk we can get, but our loose talk can turn out to be true. They feel that you're coming here another one again. Just sit down. Bouaka, we told you when Gregory Coleman did that thing, the first thing Bouaka needed to have done was to sack Gregory Coleman to save his image. But he said that they're using him. They're using him. Oh, let me share with you. So the pressure Bouaka to make that statement. Oh, I was listening when AB said that thing. I said, boy, guess what? Today, somebody from in Bouaka own camp, they say the paper was pressure. They say, yeah, man, the person was saying we're in a car. Yeah? Listen, you're think that United Party people, you're think that everybody against. You already know that it's so in the United Party people, then they are friendly people, they ain't let the kind of thing that are happening. The people can speak their mind, just how some people used to be in our government, they used to speak their mind. We're sitting in a car, that United Party member, but we are friends, good friends. We've been friends for long, talking from one end to another. The man says, he says, Sammy, because I can call me. He said, Sammy, but you see how the man was reading that thing? The man explained it and said, oh, but I seen the AP were talking on the air like them. He said, but I tell you about the other guy who's there. He said, Fonati sent him to school. He in Bouaka government. Bouaka sent him to one of these agencies. He in Bouaka government. The man said openly that what is happening to Fonati Kofa, he does not support it. Why it is true that he supported Unity Party, but he ain't supported. The guy went on to say that the education that he has today, he working in Bouaka government, that Fonati Kofa sent him to school. The man working in Bouaka government, one of the top agencies in this country. The man said he's against that. Bouaka should not have done that. He said, my man, I support that thing. And then the man said it with a few group of people. The man had it, man sitting in a car. He said, my man, I support that thing. But you can blame Bouaka too because the people around him. The man said, I support that thing. He said the education that I have today, that working in the Bouaka government and making little money to sustain my family, that Fonati Kofa, the man said, I owe a great debt of gratitude to Fonati Kofa. That Fonati Kofa sent me to school, the master degree that I get, so that are earning a living from it, that because of Fonati Kofa. Bouaka, sit down, and you mumu, you toss you to and fro. And you want to get out where? You want to get out everybody who is associated with CDC, and now you go. Sit down. The man will dump you. Let's go to the line, man. Let's take a few calls. Then we move to our man. Let's just take a few calls. 0772 23 99 33. The WhatsApp line for those of you online, following online, is 886 304497. It's already on your screen. And the women's line 0777 980 375. Let's get started with a few calls. Then we'll move to something else and then we are out. Hello. Let's hear you quick, Chief. Let's go.
So let me appreciate you for your advocacy, and let me also use this minute to appreciate the opposition community. You know, this issue about Francisco is no longer Francisco Bana. It is about the Constitution versus the people who are obligated to uphold the Constitution. So, if I fail to listen, will you Article 1 on Baga? And me and my team, Sam, we watch you. We don't wait till Sam to say, let us move.
Okay,
move.
Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, too. Hello.
Hello.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm Benjamin SJV calling from Smerio Community, Pinsville. Today it is Speaker Fadi Kofa. Tomorrow, who knows? If the president refused to uphold the rule of law, let him be. Let him go on. But the Liberian people are not sleeping. They have been silent too long. Even they say they have not got sense. They got people that have sense. Not everyone in this government that's supporting what is going on in the Buhari regime.
No,
But
not
let
at
the
all. Not,
government go on.
not everybody supporting it. Oh, not everybody. Yes, thank you, Chief. You're right. Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Fine.
I'm Mary Baba calling from my body.
Let's hear you, Mary.
Yes, I want to ask one question first before I get to the topic. The question I want to ask: when can I be not ready to see the husband? My son arguing.
The judge said what you can say. That one not important. We're on the rule of law and not Fonati Kofa again.
Yeah,
we finished with that Fonati Kofa thing.
Okay, I want to appreciate you for your topic and the discussion. The reason why the government state unity, the way they opposition holding together, they will know that their country now they want for their country and they will support it. Anything they want to say, they will say it. They will respect the rule of law of this country. And that's the reason why all the parties getting together to have a protest. We are with being that protest.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Hello.
Hello.
I tell you, when you call, make sure the radio is off before you call. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Sam. My name is Hussein. I'm Hussein Kewu. I call you from Jacobstown in district number 2. I listen to the different excerpts you play. But it worries me when I heard that a group calling themselves Rule of Law Caucus. I don't know when they become Rule of Law.
So who the rule? So who? Yeah, my man, hold on. Yeah. Who the rule of law that Boaga?
No, there is a group.
But why were you call the people? Why were you say so-called Rule of Law Caucus? Get off the line, man. What's that? Yeah, that's been very disrespectful. Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Sam Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Peter W. Castle. I come from another street like in Roy Johnsonville. Thank you for the fascinating discussion. And let me say thanks to the opposition community. I think these are things that Mr. Sam Andrew have been wishing for those powerful statements that will send a clear message to the government. You know, Joseph Walker have not realized his mistake. He just see that, and there's a parable in our own vernacular in Loma. I say, when the animal is ready to die, we never hear a waste of time. That is an attribute of Joseph Walker and his calling in government. They just see they will allow the opposition community that is highly educated and sophisticated will sit down and allow Joseph Walker to come down on our democracy and that of the rule of law, where the Supreme Court is the final arbiter, come out ruling. Then Joseph Walker and the Kony government want to circumvent the law. We will not sit here and allow that to happen, Joseph Walker. So if you are very smart, you need to recalibrate to bring the people together. And if you can't do that, the time has come. The people are ready to take on the matter of authority to checkmate you.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Hello, sir, Andrew.
Your name and where you call from?
Hello.
Man, must I say, yeah, you already on air. Once I ask you for your name and where you call from, means you on the air.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's it. I was asking. The Copa begins registered after the Sunday on the phone, like 2023 lessons. So the match she wanted more.
Oh, Chief. That what you call for? Hello.
Yeah, this is you.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, this is I just want to let you know. I said, first rule of law and between the cannot be. Because the time they were never ready, and then not say, oh, no, I say, oh, they were not going to open your mind. Yeah,
All right. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, our country, what can one for our country to kill? I will not lie. I tell the opposition and thank you to come together today for the second release for a very happy Emma Barry stretching and talking it. And when they were talking, I'm calling for attention of West Friend and Mabby. They when they talking, they standing by it, they want step by it, they want talking, and they want only a hard they wallet in their house to get on the road. They want tell Baka the country belong to us. We are selecting that we don't want point there. And I say point there, the rule of law like point there. So it want know about our rule of law in the country. The time say we are not born here. Yes, are not born here. Who our country come with rule of law. You can't destroy all our law for in the country. Now you're looking at the yesterday some poor going to one country. They say fine, let me
Okay. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Andrew.
Yes.
I'm Phil Beauty. Yeah, calling from Japan Freeway Drive. Thank you for flagging the issue. We must commend the opposition black. I want to encourage them that we should all hold together. Waka was not here. You were not born when the constitution was made. But those, good people for this land. So you should not sit down today because of a presidency to violate our constitution and then broke down the rules of law in our land. I want the opposition to stand very firm, to stand together, and then make sure that the rules of law is being abided by this government or implemented fully. And we need no other thing that will change our law. We alone cannot change our law. He is not the one that made the law. You will honor the law from the time you were born until up to the 89-year or 92-year and 42-year experience. He should not be the one to violate our law today. So we will encourage our opposition members come together to fully enforce this thing and make sure that he are here to it. Thank you for following the platform.
Thank you for calling to have a nice day. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Sianju.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, brother. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank God. And you?
Yeah, Mr. Anju, I want to say thank you for your show, man. Mr. Sianju, the way Mr. Nadara Makin say, is sad that they may destroy our whole country. If nothing is security, military people, they will never do us. The way I get brother, you get here because me they can't they speak. But I can hear. So everybody shy here for the year. People what would say in the country, they talk again here. And why you spoil all our learning? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good one. Hello. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Andrews.
Let's hear you. Your name and where you call from.
I'm Pastor Emmanuel Cooper. I call from Balanceville, precisely District 11.
Let's hear you, Pastor.
Firstly, I want to commend the opposition bloc for their swift intervention in terms of rescuing the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. It's just so unfortunate and sad for an elderly man to bring our country back into decline. Democracy is being promoted all over, and we cannot live outside of democracy. The law needs to be respected. The Constitution needs to be upheld. So I'm sorry that church leaders, religious leaders are not speaking. And it is so wrong and sad in our society because it is time for us to stand with the law. Because with no order, there is lawlessness. So we can't live in a society where we have to break our own rules. And I think the government has shot us in the leg. And I want to advise the opposition leader, they should take keen eye on their proper planning. Because if you fail to execute a proper planning, you guys will kill people in this country. They are very, very known for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Emmanuel Cooper. Hello.
Hello.
Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, thank you. Emmanuel N. Freeman Jr., Ibrahim Kwasim William Pekin, attorney from District 2, Mozilla County. Let me say thank you for the show. People are saying the iron getting hot. And Walker, I will always say this. Bouaka will submit to the Liberian people. I don't care what happens. This country is not Bouaka's personal property that he will rule any kind of way he wants to do it. And we are prepared and we are getting ready to escort Speaker Kufa. On that day, he will be going to the Capitol building. And we'll go there, elect him, they will put iron gate and they will see everything, or we'll go there and we'll remove that iron gate and our speaker will enter and have a session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys have done well to spice up. And so, man, Bouaka and his people worrying right now. The international community compiling their report. They call it situation report. Let's take this one from the women's line. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Are you coming on?
I'm fine, thank God. And you?
Mr. Andrew, the men doing the country is but you know we see the man that this country not belongs to him. Bouaka born in this country. Bouaka can never stay in this country. Because Bouaka can love me Bouaka personally in this country today. The Ellen Johnson woman that you work for 12 years. He ever see Ellen Johnson see we say our constitution here? He ever see it? Oh, because the Liberian people love human beings. Because of love, they made him to be president. So he wants to bring chaos in our country. But the radical male, the Bouaka male, was sue them to go and go churches. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you all. You did extremely well. Yeah. Thank you so much. No, and you say you can listen to the code while you extradite or process the extradition of Othello Bruce to the United States. You shall help the man here. And I say country, not country a lot. One slap America or come get Joseph Yema Bouaka. Bouaka. Anti-Corruption Commission on we had to say it was toothless bulldog. On a Bouaka, it gone to sleep Google now. Yeah. It gone to sleep Google. What America saying again? Consular officers are trained to detect, deter, and prevent visa fraud. Under U.S. law, individuals who commit visa fraud are permanently ineligible to obtain any U.S. visa. Don't commit fraud when applying for a U.S. visa. If you break the law, you may never be allowed to enter the United States again. If you break the law, and you know this 1 year, it will affect some of the lawmakers. Not all, some. And the ones who feel that they are recalcitrant, the one who feel they are stubborn, the one who feel they know, already they're on record for breaking into Phonetic Kofa office. They were showing their faces all over the place. They put themselves on camera. They were justifying. All of these things, the people have them, they have their names. The list is coming up. Certain lawmakers from the majority bloc, permanently they will be barred from leaving this country. They will just be Ray Ryan and Bouaka can do nothing. Nothing, absolutely. You think America is no respecter of a person? America is no respecter of a government. America can give you 10 billion, 50 billion, 900 trillion. They will still look at you when you do the wrong thing and punish you for it. If you think we're lying, you'll go ask Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. What kind of support Bouaka was in Ellen Sirleaf government? What kind of support Bouaka and Ellen did not receive? The same American government started taking action. The same American government referred to Ellen government as rogue regime, stealing, widespread corruption in Ellen government. The same thing, Bouaka comes to power, he says he's not new to governance. Look what he's doing. The man who is not new to government, the man put the legislature the rule of law is not important. The man created a dictatorship. Look, I told you believe it. This small hint America giving so. This small hint the U.S. embassy putting outside. They telling the people who managing Liberia's governance something coming. The boss said when you see smoke, there's fire. After 2-3 days, the American government will come out with short line. This one, that one. You overlook it. When a big one come up, Bouaka will not be in the position to save you. You can go in your conference room, you sit down, your ally, your BB people, your poor hand. I just feel for those women who coming to get out. Hey God, tell me. It will be too bad for some of those female legislators. So, look, mumu there. Can you imagine? Look at the people when they get the people look so. See the people, they're just sitting down there. No reason why their representation can increase anywhere. No reason why. They're just sitting there like mumu following the men. Anything the men said, I want to go back. Look at that other woman. You know, do you people know that Priscilla Copper had been a spy? Fanatic Copper people had not been smart. The rule of the government or the what's the word? Yeah, from a man named Buchaneza. I will get it. They put Priscilla Copper name on the list of those who allegedly, according to them, burned the Capitol building. Priscilla Copper, they put her name there as person of interest. That means she knew about, she had knowledge about the Capitol building burning. Initially, they told us the people who they saw at the Capitol building, and today they tortured them. They are still holding them. They did not say anything about Priscilla Copper, but Priscilla Copper was on the list. You know what they were doing? They were using Priscilla Copper to get information from within Fonati Kofa camp, and she was relaying information from that camp outside. Yeah, it's a woman. Today, her own people, her own supporters then, they were mocking her. 5 times she crossed over. She will move from the majority block. She said, oh, and the rule of law. And then she goes to the minority block. After a certain time, she said, the Constitution said this one. And wherever the majority is, we're going. She will go on the other side. She was just flip-flopping 5 times. 5 times. Priscilla Copper crossed over. That the last one here made it 6. Wanted to realize she was planted to get information, and that's how she was leaking out information from the minority block as they meet to the majority block. That's why those guys were relaxed. They were getting every information. No reason why, sorry to say, no disrespect to the women. Most of you are great women. You're doing extremely well and all of that, but I'm being specific with this one. Because the thing that how she conducted herself, it reminds her of the war. How the women were transporting, acting like the part of the other fashion. Then they will take information to the fashion. When you go low, the people can say, oh, you get so and so people inside. Who your brain, name this, name that, outside. Then the people speechless. No way. The high Priscilla Copper looking. That Camellia disguises herself. Now she's gone back to the majority block. Unity Party diehard supporter. A person who her entire family, Unity Party. She from Maryland County. Now my southeastern sister of my country lady. She was planted. Well, Fonati Cover Block 2, they were not too smart. I know why they did not ask themselves, the woman here, a Unity Party woman. The more in the legis, when everything was normal, she was there defending Unity Party, defending Bouaka. She was one of those who spoke about this yellow machine should come in, this and that, all kind of thing. When people raise issue against Bouaka, she would go there defending Bouaka to the letter, turning wrong into right, all kinds of stuff. They saw all those things there. they are still keeping the woman. Some people, they will tell you go by your Unity Party person, no matter why. Why it is true that political thing here with legal implication, but we trust you. But again, if they had done that, it will have some kind of bearing on them. But she gone back now. Mission accomplished. So you're sitting down there, it coming. So yeah, it's a hint. Already, everybody knows Vani Sharma record pay and play. Vani Sharma is sanctioned. He almost went, or his pressure went, or he almost fell down and died when the U.S. government released a statement. One of the pay to play, Prince Johnson gone now. And what did the United States government say? The same thing they said about McGill, Victoire, all of those guys who they put on sanction. Anybody associating with them, anybody doing business with them, moving into financial arrangement, the connection, not only will surveillance be on them, but they too will be sanctioned. A hint has been given. The majority black lead lawyer is Vani Sharma, and they are not helping these guys. They are not aiding the majority bloc legally on pro bono basis. No, they gave money to Sharma. Sharma gave money. In return, they are doing a number of things. The American government watching everything. If you think that Bouaka, this whole thing going to end, nothing will happen, and everybody will hail Bouaka, that is a blatant lie. That's a blatant lie. Even Satan is vexed with Bouaka. Satan is exposing Bouaka. It coming small. It coming small. You relax. You cool off. What the opposition did today, the United States Embassy was watching, recording all of the embassies here. They have started documenting that statement given by Janga Kowo, chairman of the Congress of Democratic Change, followed by Horatio Gould and Nathaniel McGill, senator. All of those statements, the people received them. They will listen to them over and over. They are aware that it is wrong. You cannot disrespect the Supreme Court. You cannot put the Supreme Court aside and put all of your approval in a certain group of people called quorum. The people know all of those things are wrong. Investors around the world know they are wrong. So when the time comes, you know, America, the international community, they can wait for their soup to get cold. Yesterday, they were protesting. Unity Party protested all over the place when the president then said, though this one was not right, it will discourage investors from coming into the country. People will get in the midst of the protesters to do this, to do that, to cause instability. Unity Party people say, oh, they're lie. They were encouraging people. The man today, the man Costa was sitting in America telling people to go and block the streets, burn tires. Unity Party people were hailing him all over the place. All of the ministers that you see, I don't know, I can't talk about Alexander Nutter because I did not know him then. I cannot talk about what other minister that really don't know. The Post and Telecom guy was here, Kumar. Well, I think about 2 or 3. The education minister, she was on our side in America, but they were all supportive of that. They were those ones who were sitting in America. The guys, with the exception of those people, the rest of the people, they were supporting from India, Lake Corner. Some of them were in Ivory Coast. Some were in the other regional countries. They were supporting. Some of them were in America. Jeremy Lepia, who is the information minister, he confirmed it. He was sitting down in America. He was writing all kinds of things and sending it. Costa was telling the people, you burn tires. Your porter, he blocked the street. He made the people to block the streets all over. So investors will not come to the country. So the people saw it as Liberia being unstable. They took that lady, how they call her, I know Justino, eh? Yeah, Justino. They created a scene using Justino. There are a number of deadly, satanic things that Unity Party did. Everybody knows. Everybody, when I say everybody, the people who follow Unity Party in opposition, there is nothing they can deny that they did not do yesterday. That today they don't want anybody to do it to them. They were protesting all over the place. Every now and then they calling news conference. They're calling people to protest. When they were in America lobbying, when the We Are government pressurized them, they made it clear. They did not hide it, they made it clear. They said they were in America to discourage investors from coming to America, to prevail on Washington to take action against. Mr. Washington, too, was carried away by Unity Party, played to the gallery of Unity Party. That one sanction came on my gate then. Fast forward. And that's the same thing you're seeing today. So they don't want anybody to protest. But they want 500 million. And one of the prerequisites to getting the 500 million is the rule of law, security, good governance. Everything good governance, security, rule of law in Tatos. Yet you want government, the people outside Liberia to give you money. When the condition for giving money, you're not demonstrating it. Instead, it is the opposite. No respect. We are allowed people to protest here. Unity Party protests, they came out, they called news conferences. They said all kinds of things. They were on radio using the rudest of expressions. We have never took anybody in jail. Journalists will get on the radio and say anything they want to say, whichever way they want to say it, to the extent that they will curse We Are wife, they will curse We Are man, they will go to government officials. They were very personal, very guata, as it is called in Liberian politics. We have never sent any journalist to jail. We have never harassed any journalists. We have never discriminated against journalists. Those who were insulting We Are wife and family, they were still going to news conferences. We have received them in press conference. We have recognized them. Today, Bouakai people, once you are from the opposition, they can never ever allow you in their news gathering. This morning, I heard something again. The guy from Spoon, just yesterday, every press conference, Spoon was helping to bring all kinds of deadly things about We Are. But they never denied him from entering any press conference. In fact, during We Are administration, when that identical journalist not there from Spoon, they will wait for him. They will say, let Spoon journalists come. Today, you come from the opposition, go to Bouakai gathering. If they bundle you up and carry you, that is why all the opposition people, they stay away from Bouakai gathering. Because Bouakai has created insecurity, intimidation atmosphere within the media. Journalists who curse We Are man, where yeah, we saw all those things. They will go to the senior executive mansion. We have a call press conference. The EPS will not say, you're the men who are causing We Are. That the same We Are man will ask, where is XYZ? Hearing on the radio, and he was talking that Israel, my man, come here. Everybody will just laugh and crack joke and everything. We are finished with it. The people who used to say We Are a whole keeping grudge. Yeah, then yeah, they're keeping grudge for people. Though it's good that we have God, man. Imagine how the world would have been had we not had God. No reason why he said in Jeremiah 17, he said the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can discern it thereof except he God? Let them hear. You know why they put police all in the street everywhere? Everywhere you turn, you have checkpoints? Because of their own, their insecurity. They are afraid. They're insecure. Their conscience isn't clear. So they put security everywhere. Everywhere you have checkpoints. Yesterday, when they saw 1 or 2 checkpoints, they'll call a news conference. All of these people, majority of these Unity Party people, all of them, they'll call a news conference. They were there. Mo Ali, Bwaka Jaliba, Nito Lai, I can call all of them. They at the news conference. Who was the official spokesman all of the time addressing all of the news conferences? Mo Ali. Today, when you see most of the time Mo Ali silent, he's shame. He's shame. He doesn't have the face. He doesn't have the conscience because he knows that they did those things. They went against all of those things. They protested. They challenged. They defied Wia. Today, he said nobody more defy Bwaka. Nobody should get out to express their right. Nobody should even protest. Nobody. They think that way now. The international community will say the country peaceful. One of the strategies that we are used, and that's how you get the recognition and support of the international community. They are democratic. They are human rights driven. The strategy that we are used was he respected the rights of the people. He allowed them to protest. Those are things that the people can look at and say, yes, we agree. No country around the world will be 100% stable. But given that the president is open to this, the president is open to that, the president respects free speech, the president ensures freedom of assembly, it's good. We can give money to that country. When the people see none of these things are happening, that's suppression, repression right there. They're not going to give you a dime. So Bwaka can pull army people. He can even bring the military outside the water all over. He ain't doing it against the people. He's doing it the very government. Kofi Woods, they're sitting down there. They said James Verdier or Jerome Verdier. Which one of the brothers that was here all of the time? You're on spoon talk. He would say this one. He would say that other one. You please help me with his name. I think that Jerome or James. Yeah. Today, the man speechless. That man will go and dig out all kinds of things. He will put lies together. He will get on spoon talk. We did this one. We is this. And the man is suppressing press freedom. And can you imagine journalists are being harassed? And all kinds of things. The man saying all kinds of things all day on spoon talk. The man will appear on spoon talk more than 2 or 3 times a week. Stanton Waterspoon be so excited to have the man. Couple of weeks back, they called the man to talk. You know what the man said? The man said the same thing they criticized in the past. He said, Bwaka doing it and Bwaka doing it even more. So you see, all of them shame. What that tells you, it means that Bwaka is the president, but he's not the one calling the shots. In essence, they are telling us that they only needed a face to come to power. And I told you, Unity Party had no other person to challenge Wia, to go against Wia but Bwaka. And they were desperate because they were poverty-stricken and needed to come out of poverty. So they saw Bwaka as the face they could use. So when Bwaka told them that he could not make it because of his ailing health, they still persuaded him. And we saw that in the campaign many times. Bwaka could not make it. When they came to the other place, he tried to talk. He would go up, and then they would be lying. When the journalists then put it out, they say, oh, the man is doing this. He having a meeting. They report that Bwaka is saying it's a lie. So you see it today. You see it. You see it. We inside. And that expression they used to say in opposition, say we inside, say we agree. So we're using that expression now. Anything they say we agree. We accept it. You're all of them shame. Look around, ask them, get on social media, Speak to some of the people that you know. Some of you are friendly with these people. Ask them what real investor has come to this country? What real investor that Bouaka has faced the media to tell Liberia and the world and where that investment is? Ask them, since they came to power 1 year now, they were saying we are his people, we're taking pictures all. When they go to America, that selfie they were on. They were saying all kinds of stuff. When they go to America, what do you see? Everybody taking selfie the same way. Everybody wants to show to their family that they travel with the president, or the president send them ahead and they in America or they in South Korea. Let the old man in America that pretended like he was crying. But America said, and he said they must respect the Supreme Court. In essence, he told Bouaka that that's not what we voted you for. You spoke against we are of not respecting the law, and we are never disrespected the Supreme Court. How come now we fought how we put our character on the line, and you're showing this kind of blatant disregard for the highest court of the land? You're going to read American in peace. He vexed. You can sense his vexation and frustration, but it's up to them. All of the people are ashamed now. They can't say anything good. Everything like the lines of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. It said there is a season to enjoy, to marry, make, to fantasize, to suppress, oppress, repress by the power you have, but there is an end. That the end of everything, meaning life that's season, you enjoy it. When you get the power, you enjoy it. You pour some kind of way, things will happen for you. Whichever way, life will go on. But there is the event, and that event is what they call end. If you look at Ecclesiastes, you take your Bible, you look at Ecclesiastes chapter 3, that's what the man explained. The man said there is season, there is time for you to show that you get power. There's time for you to show that you get money. There's time for you to live anyway. There's time that you can suppress people. You can do everything in your time. Your time. He said, here is the caution. There is an end. Nothing is permanent on earth. If you look at Ecclesiastes, the main thing there, the man sending across that time. So you see, time. So he started with the following. He said, there is a time to be born. You enjoy life. You ascend to power. You become president. You become legislator. You become whoever. But there is a time. Everything will end. So when you get power, you use it right. Respect people. Don't trample upon people. If you are a Christian, let me close here. If you are a Christian, if you know the Bible, too many people God punished because they suppress people, they lie on people. Didn't God say he hates lying lips? You're lying on Phonetic Kofa. God punish you for lying. God forbids, and God can punish 2 or 3 witnesses. He said, yes, the legal opinion he gave, and that's what we can use today. They will call the first witness, the second witness, third one. If all of them saying the same thing, in law, when all of them you saying the same thing, I think they call that statement corroborative. That means all of them statement aligns with one another. Then it means that there is truth or semblance of truth. So he said, in the eyes of 2 or 3 witnesses, it is established. The same way, in the eyes of 2 or 3, liars, there is the punishment that await them. So when you lie, I say Fonati Kofa 100% right. It's not about Fonati Kofa, but he's just the object because he is the sitting speaker and they are attempting to move him. So he is the object, but it is not about him necessarily. It's about the breaking of the law, the illegal stuff associated with it. So everybody that lie against Fonati Kofa just to take him off, God can punish everybody. And he does it in different ways. You go read the Bible. That's the reason we get a Bible. If you people are Christian legislators, you read it. Bwaka himself is a deacon. A deacon is how did God say? A deacon is a holder of the mystery of God. What is the mystery of God? Is the same as what they call oracle. And oracle means the utterance of God. What is the utterance of God? That Bible. That Bible is the same as prophecy. So the deacon has the responsibility to read that word of God, explain it, and live it, and have the fear of God. And Bwaka is a deacon in the church. And do you know that? Do you know how astonishing it is? Come on. With all these things happening, Bwaka pastor has not called him to a caution. Amen. Yes. There God, I see why God put all of those events in the Bible with kings. The kings were the political leaders of their day. Today we say politicians, president. The kings, they were the political people. They were the one who had the political powers. The kings. Today we say politicians. Bwaka pastor can't say anything. You see why? When you are a pastor and you're a member of your church ascend to certain high position in society, you shouldn't be excited. Don't be so happy that you're going to get money, you're going to get all those things, your church going to look different. Don't be excited. What that means is you are going to compromise everything that God said you should not compromise. You're going to fall for the money. You're going to take bribe. You know that when you take bribe from a president, you are a pastor, you take money in that bribe. Right there, you are a sellout or a soul, whichever way. You are a sellout person. Your integrity gone. So Bwaka pastor can't say anything. No. I'm not even talking about the other people that leave them. But if anybody should checkmate Bwaka, that his own pastor, followed by his religious leader, his religious advisor. I think Bwaka is uncomfortable with his pastor, so he made Gelly Brown. He made Gelly Brown his religious advisor. We did not hear an announcement, but we saw the document when they had the prayer service at City Hall. All of the religious people titles were there, and we saw Gelly Brown, advisor, President, Republic of Liberia. That from there we got to know that Gelly Brown is the religious advisor to Bwaka. The religious advisor dare tell Bwaka, this is wrong, respect the Supreme Court ruling. She will not get the kind of money that she getting from Bwaka. Everybody around the president, everybody helping the president to take him pay. Advisor takes pay. Don't understand it to me, only the ministers. Everybody who, special envoys are people who, they don't have a permanent office. They are in the corridor. They are in what they call diplomatic corridor. Anytime the president can call that person and send that person on a special assignment. So they call it special envoy because the assignment is specific. Just as God can call people on a temporary basis to do a certain job, and after that, he's done. Or he can call you into permanent service. So in political terms, the permanent service that the ministers, then all the people, and all this stuff, special envoy, you just go to do a specific job. Then you can sit down. All of them taking pay. Religious advisor, they take pay. They receive gratuity. You can be advising and you drink cold water. No, it's traditional. The board people, the people who sitting as board members, they're taking pay. Everybody taking pay. Religious advisor taking pay. Yesterday, they were blasting this man, Archbishop Isaac Winkle. They said, oh, Isaac Winkle, laying there, he's sitting down, and he's called and said, we are a spiritual advisor. Look at all the things happening in the country. He can advise we are. He finished taking money from we are. In fact, that church over there, that we are build a church. That's what they used to say. We heard it yet. So your tell Gary Brown now to advise Bouaka. Gary Brown able to look in Bouaka's face and say, Mr. President, this is wrong. Respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. This country is a country of law. A pastor is that person who looks in the face of the leader of his or her day, be it in the church, in the community, the nation, and say this is wrong. A pastor is that fearless person that speaks truth. That's what God said. They will say all manner of things against you. They will take you to court. They will call, but I am with you. He said they will do it to you for my sake. But be of good courage. Don't be a sellout. Don't be a compromise. Don't mute yourself. Pastors are not to mute themselves. Pastors are stakeholders. They are stakeholders. They are stakeholders. Everyone is a stakeholder. Every one of us in this country who are of age, we have reached the age of reasoning. We know right from wrong, good from evil. We can understand one or two lines out. We are responsible for keeping the society peaceful. We become responsible for keeping the culture peaceful. They are stakeholders. This radio station, we are all stakeholders, meaning we are responsible to protect it, to improve it, to guide against anything that will want to get it apart. All the family in the house, the family members, they are protectors of that house. In the office, the members that are there, the employees, they are stakeholders. They are protectors. Nationally, all of us are protectors. That way you can hear the expression, protectors of the peace of this country, of the stability, or when you hear those cliches, that's what it means. So when you sit down and you say because you pastor, it's not necessary. Well, you need to listen. You need to listen to this. You really need to listen to this. You really, I advise you listen to this.
Our country is safe. We cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or certain condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
Thank you ever so much. That's it. I see a hint to a wise is quite sufficient. We're back tomorrow, if God permits, at 8 this evening Face the Issues is on with Teacher Light, Anthony Atlaw, A.B. Wayne. You don't want to miss it. Thank you ever so much. Let's keep the peace of this country. Let's protect it. But let us not feel afraid of any one person called president. He did not get there by himself. He did not overthrow. No, this is not a junta regime. This is a constitutional government, democratically elected and constitutionally sworn in, with an oath to protect the people of this country and to deliver. Hence, he is our servant and not himself. He is a steward. We talk tomorrow if God permits. I'm Sam Andrews.